is that it allows you to get into that corner a little bit harder, brake, and back to the accelerator and make a pass.
And Brian Vickers with a look inside Labonte. The elevation change at this section of the racetrack, how steeply downhill that braking zone is in turn 1 and how steeply uphill those S's are. You really don't get as good a sense of it looking at it as you do when you get in a race car or even a pace car and get a ride around here like I did the other day.
Yeah, sitting there, you're not able to see the track a lot, especially if you're in traffic there. And so it is quite a change. You're literally, with all the power these cars generate, feels like it's picking the front end of the car up, and it makes it even more difficult. See Brad putting some more pressure on Kyle Busch at the front. Jimmy Johnson around Jamie McMurray. Now got Juan Pablo Montoya ahead of him. And that Stanley car, the yellow and black 9, that's Marcos Ambrose. He's the other guy that's done most of the leading today besides Kyle Busch. How is all this strategy difference going to play out between the 18 and the 9? That caution, I think, helped Ambrose quite a bit. It got him caught up. Now, as we heard them talking on the 2 radio, everybody up there is on a one-stop strategy now from this point forward.
It's going to be real important for Montoya and Ambrose to make as much time as they can right here to not get too far behind. That's the penalty for them having to make this extra stop. They're starting, this restart on a one-stop strategy with the rest of them, but, they have that deficit they have to make up now.
There you see the 9 of Ambrose, the 42 of Montoya, and where they are in relation to the leader.
And basically they have to make up this amount of ground on the track. Everybody's going to make one more stop. When they make it, it's going to be a little different, but they have to make this time up on the track.
You wonder, as both of those cars that we were just talking about, the 9 and the 42, ran extremely hard once they made those stops, how much of the tires have they used up, and now they're having to deal with cars that are almost equally as fast as them, or making it more difficult for them to pass.
The last lap by, they were 5 seconds behind Ambrose was to Kyle Busch. See, Kyle's eased up a little bit on that right front tire getting in the corner. He's not really hammering the brake pedal as much as he was.
Yeah, and even doing that, he was actually faster than Ambrose, who's back there in traffic, so they're not making up any ground on the leaders at this point in time. See Jimmy Johnson trying to make a move on Carl Edwards there.
He's trying to follow Montoya through that open door, but that door was kind of slammed shut on the toes in the S's. And look at Jeff Gordon with a big momentum run off the top of the hill.
Yeah, Jimmy dives deep down into getting to the inner loop here, though, to make sure that Jeff Gordon wasn't going to make a move.
Figuring we're about another 5 laps away from a big wave of pit stops under the green flag that'll set up how this race is going to play out toward the finish. So we'll take a break here, come back and get ready for all of that action. Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, the top 2 at Watkins Glen. Things get busy here at Watkins Glen in the hell of a good sour cream dips at the Glen. Make sure to go to NASCAR.com for all your latest information. New leader, Brad Keselowski, has just gone around Kyle Busch to take the top spot as the window begins to open for a final round of pit stops. First, the lead change.
Yeah, going down into turn 1, he made a nice move coming off of turn 7 to get up the side of Kyle Busch as the preferred line. Kyle doesn't press the issue. What a great job Brad Keselowski's doing here today.
Last week's winner at Pocono is out in front. Dale Jr., Casey Kane, green flag pit stops completed. In the replay of the lead change, you saw them ducking off.
Okay, next time by, we'll see the 2-car on pit road make his last stop. Oh, look at Ambrose getting a little loose, getting into 1.
Yeah, he runs these cars with a lot of rear brake in them and get on them just a little bit heavy. You can see it get kind of tail happy there, but his talent was able to hang on to it, make the pass.
We've got to go. Got to make some time right here.
Yes, he does. He's 7 seconds behind Brad Keselowski. Ryan Newman, Bobby Labonte both in. Doc?
Ryan Newman wanting to play it conservative because of where he is in the point standings. And folks, they're about a half a lap to 1 lap short on fuel. They feel like they got to go ahead and pit now, be one of the first to come in on this last cycle, and maybe get a good finish if they make it on fuel. Same thing behind him for Bobby Labonte. They're both down and away.
Remember earlier in the race, we had 2 Roush Fenway cars run out of fuel
trying to get to their window. Greg Biffle and David Reagan. Matt Kenseth is slow on the racetrack.
90 is going to give you a push. 16 is going to give you a push.
Now here, Biffle's a couple of laps down, so he's going to try to help his teammate out, Matt Kenseth, who's out of fuel here. They're coming. They've got 2 more corners to negotiate.
And the leader pits. And a pile of the front-running cars. Keselowski, Kyle Busch, Truex, Stewart, Burton, Harvick, Logano, all in, Doc.
Brad Keselowski slides the tires to a stop. He says 3 words. Car is awesome. Left side tires on. Right side tires going in. Let's check in with Vince.
The 18 of Kyle Busch. It's a little tight in the carousel and a little tight in turn 6. They talked about a wedge adjustment but decided against it. Just an air pressure adjustment for the 18, and he's going to beat out the 2 car.
If that caution comes out now, it's going to really put Ambrose and the cars that are yet to make a stop in trouble.
14 slow again on pit road. I don't know if that was just to make sure they got all the fuel in there they possibly could.
Matt Kenseth did make it back around to pit road after the push from Greg Biffle. We do stay under green.
And this is where he kind of hung out to dry because Ambrose may not be able to make it. He may have to run another lap or 2 before he can get inside of his window.
What we've seen, I think, with these Fords, trying to get anything over 26 laps out of them is very risky.
So that means he'll have to run at least 3 or 4 more laps.
And that doesn't put you in any position for a green-white checker. Not that the other guys are either.
Clint Boyer briefly took over the lead when those guys in front of him ducked off pit road, Dave.
Alan, he'll get 4 tires and an air pressure adjustment. Car was a little bit loose, but it came to him on that run. He'll have to go almost, 30 laps here to the end if he's going to make it. Vince?
The 99 of Carl Edwards is coming in as well. Edwards celebrating his 32nd birthday today, but he'd like a car that'd be a little happier. Wheel hopping in turn 7, but he said the other adjustments on the previous stops have helped. A 4-tire change. Doc?
Greg Biffle in after running out of fuel early in the race. And DJ, you're exactly right. 26 laps is about all they've been able to go on fuel. And they thought they were going to go 27, but the car shifting left and right took fuel away from the pickups. That's why he ran out the first time. Right side tires on, Biffle away. Shannon.
Second stop for Mark Martin on the day. He says the car is pushing and snaps loose in the bus stop. They are on pit road for an extended period of time, guys. It was a call for 4 tires, and Mark Martin is down and away. Alan?
All right, Shannon, thanks. Leaders come by. Ambrose, Montoya, Johnson, Gordon, then Allmendinger. Kyle Busch is cycled off the pit lane ahead of Brad Keselowski. Kyle is in 13th. Keselowski is in 14th. For the moment. Let me just put a hold on that myself to let the scoring cycle around a lap after the pit stop and double check that.
Yeah, we saw it looked like Brad Keselowski, front tire changer, was having to wait on the Jackman just a minute there, so it probably held that up a little. Speaking of Jackman, we saw in Clint Boyer, Jackman fall trying to go back over to the right side of the car. Just how difficult it is on these teams making these pit stops that are literally backwards for them.
Yeah, it is Kyle ahead of Brad by about 3/4 of a second. So there is the 18 and the 2. Kind of a picture we saw for quite a while earlier.
I think they're both going to have to be in a little bit of a conservative mode for the time being. They know as all this cycles through, they should come out and be the leaders once again.
They should have a pretty good idea on what their mileage is now. They've made a couple of stops. They've made actually their last stop so they can see just exactly how far they think they can go, and then they can advise their drivers if they need to save fuel.
Boy, it's just so hard as a driver. We've talked all year about these drivers saving fuels on the ovals, but it is such a difficult task doing this as a driver on the road course.
So when will we see Ambrose pit? Where will that place him in relation to Kyle Busch? Kyle should get the lead on the exchange of pit stops.
He should have about a 7 or 8 second lead after they make this pit stop, assuming that they have a clean stop, the Ambrose team and Montoya.
So what Ambrose needs, just to kind of sum up, is to get on and off pit road, get it full of fuel, then have the caution come out to close him up.
Yeah, he's running extremely fast laps here, too, for as many laps as he has on these tires. down under the 72-second bracket. And when Kyle was out leading the race, he was mostly in the 72 30s and 40 range.
Yeah, but the problem is you see Kyle Busch and Keselowski running 71 teams.
Yeah, of course, Ambrose will too once he goes back out with these fresh tires he's coming to get.
He was about 7 seconds behind before the leaders pitted.
Dave?
And he's in his comfort zone, guys. No complaints about the race car. They'll get 4 fresh tires, actually maybe 2. And they'll go for all 4 because they got to fill this thing really full of fuel. Remember, their fuel mileage not as good as some. Jamie McMurray also on pit road. Doc.
Montoya's crew has been absolutely outstanding on pit road today. Left side tires. You're going to go ahead and put all 4 on it. Got to get it full of fuel. He could actually go about 7 or 8 more laps. They called him in earlier because why waste time on used tires? Good stuff again. He's down and away. He and Ambrose headed to the end.
And there you see Kyle Busch and Keselowski already through turn 1, while the 9 and the 42 still work pit road speed. And there they come back onto the racetrack. That was a little aggressive there, pit exit from Montoya.
Yeah, and he's wanting to get by while he's got these fresh tires if at all possible.
26 laps to go. Jimmy Johnson, the leader. Final stop still playing out. Will the caution wave again and change the whole picture around? We're under caution at Watkins Glen. A terrible crash for Denny Hamlin. That is in turn 1 at the end of the front straightaway.
This looks a lot like the brake failure. Saw no skid marks going down in there. This is a tire barrier. You can see there's a guardrail there.
You see Denny inside the car, and the safety workers there attending to him.
Very high speed getting into turn 1. We're counting on that brake pedal to be there. It's not.
Yeah. And there's just nothing you can do. There's no way. You can't turn the car. You can't turn it off. You can't do anything that's really going to slow the car down enough at that point in time.
Kind of similar to what Brad Keselowski's car looked like from Road Atlanta when he had that accident.
Yeah. And Denny climbing from the car.
Man.
A testament to the safety of these vehicles and
He's out.
This young man works hard in the gym on his physical conditioning, and I think that has a lot to do with it too.
2 words here. Watch this.
Yeah, it looks like it's
got some brakes.
The front brakes the left front's locked up.
It's almost like the throttle hung.
Gosh, man, that could have been. It could have been the throttle hung pushing the front tire. Man.
Look at how much it moved that guardrail, even through the tire barrier.
You can see the smoke from the front tires, like he's trying to get this car stopped, and maybe the throttle is hung partially. Man.
Yeah, those rear tires are still going hard.
Yeah.
Oh.
Terrible crash there for Denny Hamlin. Fortunately, he climbed from the car and did walk away. And naturally, it brings up the images of Jimmy Johnson's terrible crash there in that Nationwide Series race several years back when he lost his brakes over the top of the gravel trap.
Man, you can see the track is configured different because it had gravel then, had a styrofoam wall. Man, that is just a hard lick. It shortened that car up about 4 feet.
Pit road is open, and Jeff Gordon has given up the lead to come in for a stop. Dale Jr.'s in, Ron Fellows, Brian Vickers. Vince?
The 24 has been searching throughout the course of the weekend. Alan Gustafson said they just don't feel like they had a good baseline setup for Watkins Glen. They may have found it. Jeff Gordon said, I'm having fun. You guys have given me a great car today. 4 tires and fuel for Jeff Gordon.
So this set of caution flag pit stops is going to cycle Kyle Busch back to the lead. and set up what could be the run to the checkers for this race. When the field is doubled up, Marcus